book Cradle to Cradle, and the whole basis of Cradle to Cradle is this idea of trying to not just make kind of minor improvements as we can, but to try to overhaul the whole design process to reflect natural systems more. And what they focus on are three principles that we can borrow from natural systems that could be integrated into design in general. So one is that waste equals food. In other words, there should be no such thing as waste. Right? We look at that wastewater treatment system, we know that in natural systems, there are no landfills. Right? There obviously is waste. Why are there no landfills? Because all outputs of any given species are inputs for another species. And so overall, kind of this thing, that in principle, there's no reason why that couldn't work in human systems as well, right? We design, it's just that the waste has to be designed to be the input to another system. So right now we have a very atomized economic marketplace where, for example, the people who build skyscrapers are, in general, people different from people who design houses, or different from people who design and build roads. Or, there's very little, or I don't know, maybe there is more interaction than I think, but my presumption is that there's not a whole bunch of interaction between these people and the people who design cars, people who design fuel, people who design disposables. Right? All these things are kind of designed in a very atomized way, focused on minimizing costs in the near term. But in terms of overall design solution, there is no reason that this inspiration of waste equals food could not be brought into the design process. Then the other thing is nature depends on free, sustainable power. Right? All of the diversity and the amazing innovations that you see in biological systems are all premised on harnessing solar power. So, and nature is immensely productive. Right? When you talk about things like floral systems, like floral blooms, insect emergences, you've got huge mobilizations of energy enough to transform the atmosphere of a planet, resulting in photosynthesis, all based on solar energy. But part of the reason is because photosynthesis and other energy production systems in nature evolved over millions of years of evolution, hundreds of millions of years of evolution. But through that time, some of the systems become really optimized, where, for example, photosynthesis is of immensely high efficiency compared to where our solar cells are at today. But if we, really look at this as part of an inspiration for a sustainable system, there could be greater movement there. And I think of these, solar income is probably the one that is already kind of widely recognized. I mean, everyone kind of knows it would be great to use renewable energy sources. But it is kind of interesting to look at that as an inspiration taken from natural systems. And the last one is that they argue is celebrate diversity. So part of that is saying that just like with evolution, you don't see the same species everywhere you go, right? The species you see in a park is different from the species you see along a river, is different from the species you see in a field, is different from the species you see on a hill, different from mountains, and then all of those different habitats, you're going to see different species in another area of the world. So the species you see by a stream in New York is going to be different from the species you see by a stream in Vietnam. So why? It's because specialization and adapting to local circumstances has a certain benefit. It's optimal when it comes to maximizing energy, maximizing your productive output from energy inputs, and so on. So part of the argument is that we need to move away from universal solutions, universal design solutions to problems, because in many cases, what works as a solution in one area is not going to work as well as a solution in another area. Right? Available organic materials to create disposable products, for example, that are organic, you're going to have to use different materials in different areas. They may not have that leaf, whatever leaf is used in India to create a little snack plate. That an equivalent leaf may not be available in the United States. I don't know, but so there's got to be a focus away from universal solutions and towards diverse ideas, localism, filling specific niches, and having design all really focused on that. And all this stuff is very elaborated in this book. And that whole idea of using books not made from paper comes from that. So this book is published on plastics, but it actually has a pretty impressively book-like feel to it. So it's kind of one whole set of ideas.